Hi, I'm Brad of Brad's Vintage Collection. Today I'm doing something a little bit different, and I'm doing a video on Do Stickers Matter? And I'm talking about those NBA stickers, that the gold stickers and the silver stickers that people are starting to get on their cards. What prompted me to do this video was two things. I bid on a card last week where I put in a nuclear bid that would have been the all-time high, and I didn't even come close. And incidentally, the card didn't have a sticker on it. I saw a card on Jeremy Lee's show where a collector bought a 49 leaf Jackie Robinson at a really record price for the grade on a really high eye appeal card. That didn't have a sticker on it. I saw a video from Graig at Midlife Nation, and he was talking about how NBA stickers were really popular at the West Coast show, that the NBA booth was really busy with people getting cards evaluated, and that there were a lot of dealers with stickered cards in their cases. And the way I look at it is the stickers are kind of expensive. They're $100 and they can get higher if the card's higher value. And so if you go to NBA and you submit 6 cards and 3 of them get a sticker and 3 don't, then you basically paid $600 for 3 stickers, or $200 a sticker, which is kind of expensive. So I was wondering, is it worth it? High appeal cards are already getting a premium. Do the stickers really help things? So what I did to try to determine that, obviously this is a really small sample size, is I took the 2 sales I knew about without a sticker, found 2 additional record-breaking sales from the VCP hot list, and then I went to eBay and chose the last 4 pre-war vintage Hall of Fame sales in an NBA gold and an NBA silver, excluding 9s and excluding half grades, because in both cases there's not a lot of data. So this is the card that made me think about doing this video, and I call it the Heartbreak card. It's one of the cards that I obsessed over. It's a card on the left, and you can see that it set an all-time record for $17,805, which was 133% of the previous high sale. And this card is gorgeous. It was one of them that I was kind of consumed with trying to add to my collection, figured out which cards I would sell to downgrade in order to get it, because I don't have a big hobby budget right now. But finally, I could still swing a card that I'm looking for a long time and seemed to find the right version of it. So I bid $14,600, thinking that was a nuclear bid that had a really good chance at the card, because it was significantly more than the previous high. And I wasn't even within $3,000 of the card. I mean, it set a new record at $17,805. So looking at what the card went for, again, it doesn't have a sticker on it. It's 133% of the previous high and 205% of the average of the last 10, which went for $8,680. And you can see that the previous high is a gorgeous high eye appeal card that sold in January. This one is a gorgeous high eye appeal card. I think a little bit nicer than the one in January, but very similar cards. And then the previous sale is just kind of a representative card. The last one sold before the record, and that's $7,073 on December 8th, 2025. So you can see that the average for, maybe a little bit below average for, looks much different than the high eye appeal cards on the left. But all of them are really nice cards. So then I went and looked for an NBA silver sticker card, and I found this 1969 Nolan Ryan in an SGC7. It sold on 12/21/25 for $1,350, which was 105% of the previous high. So right about the same cost, but 148% of the last 10. And if you look, the middle card was the previous record holder, which sold for $1,281, which was 132% of the average last 10. And then on 12/27 was the previous sale for $785. And in this case, you kind of see that the 2 on the left look pretty identical. Both have kind of the same centering, both have 4 really sharp corners. I don't know which one's better between the 2, but they look very similar cards, and they sold for very similar prices. The one on the right is also similar centering, but it's got a pretty soft bottom right corner, and that's what makes it different than the 2 on the left, but still a beautiful card and a nice card. And if you look at the average of the last 10 sales, which is $903. This silver got a premium over the average for sure, but not really a premium over the previous high. Next, for a gold, I've got a T205 gold border Cobb in a PSA 1. And this sold on December 29th, 2025 for $4,000, which was basically the exact same price of the previous high that sold in March of 2024. And if you look at this one, I think it's a nicer card than the one that had the previous record at $39.99. So basically the gold sticker got the card a record, but no no additional dollars over the non-stickered record holder card from the past. The previous sale is on the right, went for $1,661, and the average 10 is $2,152. So 100% of the last record and 186% of the average last 10 on this beautiful Cobb PSA 1. Okay, going back to a non-stickered card, this is the 49 Leaf Jackie Robinson I talked about that was featured on Jeremy Lee's video, who interviewed the collector that bought it. The Jackie Robinson went on February 6, 26 for $27,600. The card in the middle was the previous high at $10,088, and I think the one on the left is significantly nicer than that card and significantly nicer than the one on the right. 273% of the previous high, and the previous 10 went for $7,089, so the one on the right's a typical card, and it's 389% of the average 10. So super high premiums for this super high eye appeal PSA 1, and again, it didn't need a sticker to get these super high prices, because what I would say is all collectors have eyes, not just or Mike Baker, so we can all see that it's a premium card, and people are going to bid accordingly in an auction. Next is the 49 Bowman Page PSA 2 that I found in an NBA Silver. This one sold on January 31st, 2026, setting the all-time record for $5,750. If you look at the card in the middle, it was the previous record holder, sold on August 18th, 2025 at $5,400, so 124% of the previous high. And then the one on the right on 12/14/25 sold for $4,800, the previous sale. Average for the last 10 was $4,320. So the silver sticker got 124% of the previous high and 133% of the average last 10. So a nice premium on the silver sticker, but not necessarily better than it would have been without a sticker. Next up, I've got a gold sticker, and this is the 1956 Ted Williams Grayback in an SGC7. And if you look on 2/22/26, it set an all-time record high at $3,850. The previous high was from October 26, 25 at $1,647. The previous sale was at $1,600, so just shy of the previous high, and the average 10 was $1,015. So looking at the three cards, I think the one on the left is clearly the superior card of the three. The one in the middle, also very, very nice. The one on the right is off-centered quite a bit compared to the other two cards. So this one really hit a home run, 233% of the previous high, 379% of the average last 10, and I'd say a premium probably as good or better than any of the cards we've seen on here so far. Next, I went back to a non-stickered card that I found in the VCP hot list, and this is the 1956 Mickey Mantle Grayback in a PSA 6. A record was set on February 27th, 26 at $11,400, which was 119% of the previous high. If you look, January 7th, 26 was the previous high at $9,602. And to me, the two cards look very similar. I think the top to bottom centering is a little bit better on the middle card than the record holder card. The middle card has some edge roughness, which I like, but some people don't like the rough cuts, and on the right side's kind of rough cut. All four corners look pretty sharp on both cards and all look really, really nice for a PSA 6. And then the one on the right is the previous sale, and you can see it doesn't even look very similar to the other two cards, and it sold for $4,695, which was a little bit low. The average 10 is $5,154. So 119% of the previous high, 221% of the average last 10, and nobody paid for a sticker on this one. Next up, we have an NBA Silver 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle in an SGC3. And incidentally, the current high and the previous high were both silver stickered cards. And both the identical card, actually. So on August 18th, this card sold for $4,200, which was the all-time record for this card. And then on December 14th, it sold for $3,522. So whoever bought it took a loss on the card. So it's 84% of the previous high, which was the same card. But going back to that other card, it's 132% of the average last 10. And I think the previous high was $41.99 on the right, so it's basically the same price as the non-stickered high card. So in this case, it didn't set a record. It went down from the previous time, and it's barely above the average of the last 10 at 110%. So paying for the sticker, I really don't think got you that much on this mantle card. At least on the second sale, it probably did on the first sale. So it shows that a sticker card can have a wide variance, selling 2 different times as every card can. Next up in a gold sticker is a 1955 Clemente PSA 2 in an NBA gold. And this one, again, the same gold sticker was the previous high and the current high. If you look at it, $3,600 is what it sold for on March 2nd, which was 138% of the previous high without a sticker, 174% of the average last 10. And if you look at the previous high, that same card went for $2,875 on November 16th. So someone made quite a profit holding this card for 4 months and reselling it. The previous sale before went for $2,331, and the average 10 is $2,066. So this card went for 174% of the average 10 last sales. And if you look at the cards on here, you can see the 2 on the right aren't as sharp as the 1 on the left. The corners have a lot more wear on the 1 on the left, and both of them are way worse centering top to bottom. So it does seem to be a really nice card for the grade, but the variance that it sold for is surprising, and it kind of shows the sticker doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get a nutso price. And in November, it only got slightly higher than the previous high without a sticker, which is $2,600. Next card I found on the VCP hot list was a 1971 Reggie Jackson in a PSA 6. And you can see the card on the left set a new record on February 15th, 2026 at $324, 154% of the previous high, which was the card in the middle, and 241% of the average of the last 10. And looking at the 3 cards, the centering right to left is pretty bad on all of them. The top to bottom centering is also not great on the X-Mint 6. And I think it's sharper with less chipping on the 1 on the left that set the record than the previous high. It seems like there's a lot of chipping on the right-hand border on the previous high, where really the 1 on the left has nice clean borders. So I think that explains the premium. Average 10 was $135, so 154% of the previous high and 241% of the last 10. And again, this card didn't need a sticker on it to get the premium. Next, in NBA Silver is a 1965 Hank Aaron PSA 7. And again, this was the same sold twice. Sold October 23rd, 2025 to set a record at $1,100, and then sold March 2nd, 2026 for $684. So if I look at it, it's 101% of the previous high without a sticker, but obviously way less than that card went for last time. And it shows that the sticker doesn't mean it maintains a high price value again, with quite a difference between this sale and the previous sale. 151% of the average 10, so the silver sticker does get a pretty nice premium over the average 10. If you look at the previous sale, it went for $430. That's the 1 on the right, and you can see that the centering on the card on the left that sold twice is really nice compared to the centering of the 1 on the right and the one that was the previous record holder without a sticker. The one thing that I see on this card is the D and the L on outfield kind of aren't spelled out in its entirety, so it looks like there's some ink missing there. One that had the previous side has a lot of black spots on it, so it wasn't real clean of an image. And the 1 on the right is off-centered. So I think the 1 on the left is really, really better looking than these are. But it's very interesting to me that there was basically almost 100% difference between the 1100 sale on October 23rd and then the $684 on March 2nd. So the sticker really had a huge variance in what it sold for, and you would think you'd be paying for some consistency in pricing by getting a sticker on it. Next up is a 1952 Rizzuto Blackback in a PSA 4 NBA Gold. And you can see that this has the record-setting price. It sold on February 14th, 2026. Beautiful card. It actually is the same card as next to it without the sticker. And so putting the sticker on it and waiting, I don't know, from April 10th, 2025 to February 14th, 2026, got an extra $51. So in this case, surprised to see it's the same card, but getting the sticker really didn't add anything to the price of the card, and actually kind of lost money on it by paying for that sticker. In both cases, this great example was significantly higher than the average 10, 312% on the one on the left, and since they're about the same price, roughly 300% on when it sold last time. Looking at the one on the right, you can see that the centering's not nearly as good, the registration's not as clear on it, not nearly as nice a card as those premium cards on the left, but interesting to see that getting the sticker really didn't add value in this case. And this was just something I accidentally stumbled upon, not knowing that I was going to find that the previous record holder was the same card out of my small sample of 4. So what conclusions do I have? Eye appeal definitely matters. If you look across the board at these high eye appeal cards, and they really did well against the previous 10 and against the previous highs, but I really don't see where getting the sticker gets you a significant premium over a nice card without a sticker. In fact, versus the previous 10, and maybe it's cherry picked because the Jackie and the Maze were cards that I found myself that seemed like outliers and made me do this whole experiment. But it looks like you're getting a significant premium for high eye appeal cards, probably more than you ever have. So I was luckily for my collection ahead of the curve on the high eye appeal front. Really looking at this, high eye appeal matters. People are paying the premiums with or without a sticker. And in a couple cases, the sticker didn't hold its value from one time to the other. And also a non-stickered card kind of went for the same price once it got a sticker on it. So from this small sample, I don't think I'm convinced yet that in this current market, it's worth paying money to Mike Baker to get a sticker on a card. I think the crowdsource of an auction gets what the card should go for, and you'll get people that can see eye appeal or willing to pay eye appeal, and the variance of prices in every grade is much higher than it was 2-3 years ago. It's a real big difference between the high card and the low card in the last 10 in every case, and people are really paying up for eye appeal with or without the sticker. So I think we can all see as well as Mike Baker can see, and I think that the sticker really isn't adding enough value to be really that much of a service to the hobby. It adds cost to the seller of the card, and while it pretty much guarantees that you're going to do well versus the previous 10, I think a high eye appeal card also pretty much guarantees that, as we can see in that Rizzuto that went for basically the same price without the sticker. So eye appeal matters, but do stickers? I'm not so sure, and I think time will tell in the hobby. But personally, I hope this is a fad that goes away quickly, because I just hate anything that adds cost to the card before I get to buy it. So anything that makes that card more expensive to the dealer is something they're going to have to pass on to me, and I don't want my cards to be more expensive than they need to be. Hope you found this a little bit interesting. Like I said, I did this video because of seeing that Maze and that Jackie Robinson card without stickers, and I'm like, well, geez, if these non-stickered cards are getting this much money, what are the stickers doing? And it seems like they're doing pretty much the same or less. So go for the high eye appeal cards. You're going to have to pay more than ever for them, but whether it has a sticker or not really doesn't seem to make that huge of a difference versus the higher end of the market, but probably guarantees that your floor is going to be a pretty decent premium over the previous 10. But I really think you'd get that anyway. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different than the things I normally do. Let me know in the comments whether you like this type of video or not. And remember, if you're not excited to add the card to your collection, you bought the wrong card. Again, I'm Brad's Vintage Collection. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. If you comment on this video, I will answer all of the comments. Thanks for watching.